I think the challenge for most CISOs is to understand, and they do, that it's a double-edged sword. It can be a very strong advantage for them if they employ tools that are using AI to be a force multiplier for their own organizations. But they also know it's something that is used by the bad actors to try to leverage and improve their efficiency and to drive more attacks.
Proofpoint Protect is underway here in Nashville, Tennessee. The New York Stock Exchange is on site talking to all sorts of leaders about how cybersecurity is getting supercharged by AI. And I'm pleased now to be joined by Patrick Joyce. He's a global resident chief information security officer. Patrick, it's great to be here.
Well, thanks for the invitation. It's great to be here as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you. We are talking about human-centric risk. That can be a hard element to quantify. How are you in your role helping that get noticed on the executive agenda?
That's a great question. You know, it is tough sometimes because if you speak too much in technical language or technical jargon, you're going to lose your audience right away. And if you lose your audience, you're not going to get your message across. So it is challenging, but the human element of security doesn't really fit into a dashboard very well. So you have to kind of translate it into business language that's understandable. So if you put it in the context of risk, if you put it in the context of business resilience, if you put it into financial terms for listeners who are very often used to conversing in those terms, you're much more successful. So as a CISO or as a security leader, whenever you can translate human risk or other risk into that language and what the impact can be for an organization from a risk standpoint, you're much better off.
And have you seen customers successfully make those changes as a result?
Absolutely. It's been a situation over the years where that's been a bit of a migration because most security officers and most technical people are technical. They're not necessarily trained or versed in the business sense. But that evolution in the change of the CISO role really has occurred in recent years. And so they're used to speaking at the board level. They're used to speaking at theher senior leadership level. And so when they can put those human risks and technical risks into business terms, they're much more successful.
Proofpoint recently released its 5th annual Voice of the CISO report. How have you found via that survey that their role is evolving?
The role's evolved a lot. The role of the CISO, as I mentioned a minute ago, has changed a lot in recent years. It used to be technical people. Now it's really people who are much more attuned to business. The challenge in most organizations is to still keep security as a key differentiator and as a key area of focus for the organization, similar to other business risks. The role of the CISO has changed in the sense that they have to, even though it's a very high pressure role, gets a lot of attention. It's an always-on type role. As long as they put things into business language and they put things into practical risk realities, they can usually keep that conversation very fruitful.
And as AI reshapes the security landscape, how are you finding that CISOs are adapting?
Well, AI or technology in general, but certainly AI, agentic AI, is a certainly hot topic for organizations. It's the buzzword of the year or maybe of the decade. In most organizations, it's now something that is part of the regular conversation. I think the challenge for most CISOs is to understand, and they do, that it's a double-edged sword. It can be a very strong advantage for them if they employ tools that are using AI to be a force multiplier for their own organizations. But they also know it's something that is used by the bad actors to try to leverage and improve their efficiency and to drive more attacks. So communicating that kind of double-edged sword situation to their leadership and their stakeholders is crucial.
Can you share an example of how the evolving role of the CISO has helped when it comes to security outcomes?
I know a certain situation in a medical device company, where they have actually evolved. It used to be there were kind of towers of security. You had the IT security even before it was called cyber. You had the cybersecurity roles. You had the physical security roles, which were responsible for the buildings and the movement of people, et cetera. And then you had medical device or technology roles, or whether it's a pharma company, they're involved in securing the actual technology that the company is manufacturing. A lot of those roles have merged or begun to merge. And even some traditional IT roles that kind of run the infrastructure and run the data center have rolled underneath a lot of CISOs now. They see that combination of responsibility is crucial to have that big picture role of security for a whole organization so they can drive resilience across the whole supply chain.
We're ending with a fun question, Patrick. So think about this one. If AI could plan your next vacation, where do you think it would be?
That's tough. I'm not a sit on the beach kind of person. So usually I'm pretty active. So if AI was using it, they'd probably say, well, he likes nature. He likes to be active. He likes to go different places and have variety. So it's tough for me to pick an exact place, but it certainly wouldn't be sitting around doing nothing.
Okay. And do you think AI is up to the task?
Oh, give it a year or two.
Patrick, Joyce, thanks so much for joining me here at Proofpoint
Thanks for the
Protect.
invite. Appreciate it.
Yep.